Chris with another Tire Side Chat. It's a Saturday. It's been a quite busy day for a Saturday. Don't usually expect to get up and have to, well, actually work on a Saturday, but today was a little bit different. Got up fairly early, 9 o'clock. I know. Usually I get up at 7, though. So on the weekends, we sleep in until 9 because it's the weekend, of course. And, you're supposed to have a couple days where you can kind of take it easy. But anyway, got up at 9 o'clock and met a couple over in Henderson. Sold them a laptop computer. An older one, but they just needed something for their daughter to use while she homeschooled. And so, I've got... the older models work well for that, and I'm sure they'll get a lot of good use out of it. It was an old ThinkPad R60 that I'd had sitting around for a while. I thought, well, I might as well get rid of this because it's just taking up space in my new work area. So I think they'll be happy with it, and I think that child will get a lot of good use out of it. So I did that, delivered another desktop to another customer. Got paid for that. Hey, it's always good to get paid. Picked up 2 other desktops from that person. One, I've already looked at the desktop, and it's just got a bad CMOS battery. If you don't know what that is, a CMOS battery, CMOS, is the battery that enables the computer to keep the date and time even when the computer's turned off. And so it's basically just a watch battery. And so it plugs into the motherboard, or it has a little slot in the motherboard that it goes into, one way or the other. And it keeps the date and time. So every time you turn your computer on, you don't have to set the date and the time. It has it already. And so when that battery does finally go dead, it tends to, the computer will still work, but there's some things, if the date and the time are not correct, like say when you go to a website, some websites insist that you have the correct date and time on your computer. And if you don't, then they don't really work very well. And so I'll replace that battery. I've got, I keep a little stash of CMOS batteries I've gotten out of other computers. And you just don't, a CMOS battery is just something you don't throw away. So I'll do that. The other one, the customer said that it would not go to the desktop. It would start up, get to a certain point in the Windows startup process, and then just turn off and start all over again. And so usually that's not a very good sign. Usually that means something is failing, and usually that thing is the hard drive. So we'll see what we can do with that. All is not lost if it's just a case of some of the customer just turning the computer off with the power button rather than the Windows shutdown menu once too often, then it's no big deal. You run some check disk on that, and it'll bring it back to life in no time. If it actually is a bad hard drive, well, it's still not the end of the world. Just pop a new hard drive in there and reload Windows, and you're good to go. So we'll see what happens with that. The thing that I'm most proud of today, though, I did all that this morning, came back, and when I got back, I had an iPad Air with a cracked digitizer on it, and that was waiting for me. So as soon as I got home, I started on that, whipped out the hot air station, got it turned up to 300 degrees, and I am pleased to say that is the best iPad digitizer replacement I have done thus far. The more times you do things, the better you get at them. The more times you do things, the more little things you notice that enable, if you do those little things, then the end product really turns out better. And so that's what I'm most pleased with today. I took my time. It still only took me 90 minutes, start to finish. But I really just took my time, just relaxed. It's one of those things you cannot get in a hurry doing. No, it never works out. It's one of those things you have to say, hey, look, I'm just going to budget 2 hours of my day to do this. And I'm not going to worry about it if everything doesn't go exactly right, but I'm just going to take my time, and that's what I did. And it's like, I was really pleased with that. I mean, I got the old digitizer off in one piece. without cracking it, without splitting it, without, having to dig out thousands of well, not thousands, but usually it can get pretty bad. If you get in a hurry, you can crack that digitizer worse than it already is. You end up with just hundreds of little tiny shards of glass that you have to clean up. I didn't have any of those left. I got the adhesive strip that holds the digitizer to the frame out with a minimum of fuss. I mean, yeah, it's hard to do because it's very sticky stuff, but compared to some past endeavors, yeah, I'm really feeling good about that. So, got the digitizer off. You take out the LCD. You make sure the frame is clean. Yeah, unfortunately, if you've never done an iPad Air, you have to take the LCD out of the frame in order to disconnect the digitizer. I've always thought that was kind of backwards. I always thought, can't you figure out a better way to do this? But, it's just kind of the way it is. So you have to take the thing, pretty much, well, about 50% apart to get the digitizer in. So anyway, did that, got the digitizer plugged back in, got the LCD back in, and after I took the little protective strips off of the adhesive that were on the digitizer, I was very careful to lay that over very gently and got it all lined up and then pressed it into place, and it was great. I mean, it was just, it looks almost factory. I mean, I can tell the difference because I look at a lot of them, and so, but, to the average person, they don't know. They just want it to work, right? But it looked almost factory. I mean, it was almost a perfect fit. There was a little bit of adhesive strip that stuck out about 1.5 inches on one side of the digitizer, which I was able to cut that out with with my razor knife. And I wish, but that wasn't my fault particularly, except that I didn't look at it before I put the digitizer in. So anyway, I was really pleased with that. The digitizer was fit into the frame correctly and there was no flexing. I mean, it's obvious that thing it has 100% contact with that adhesive strip all the way around the perimeter of that frame. And so I was really happy with that, and I was really happy to give it back to the customer and just know that they're going to be happy with it. By the way, if you need your iPad digitizer replaced, we do that. We do the LCD too. So give us a call at 919-518-6649 or 919-693-5580. That's local to Oxford. A lot of people do not have long-distance service, I've noticed, and so that's why we have forwarded our home phone to my smartphone, and so if people do call the local number, it still goes to my phone, and so I'll be the one to answer, and I'll be the one to be able to help you out. Okay. So, if you, well, this is just kind of a day in the life kind of video. I didn't really, tell you anything special about how to do something, but still, it's just been such a good day. I just thought I'd share that with you anyway. So, if you enjoy our videos, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate when you do, and we will see you on the next one. Okay.